right, so our do now again says, what were some different pieces of information or characteristics on the element cards that we used to sort them in our homework last week? So how they reacted with different substances, colors and numbers, how they reacted, the number of sticks that were coming out of the circle in the center, if they were metal or non-metal, what it reacted with, so if it reacted with water or oxygen. Okay. So good thoughts and ideas here. So we're going to start by going over this. Again, this was your homework assignment last week. And you are going to help me sort the cards the way that they should be sorted. So when I do my sorting, I'm first going to start by sorting them by color. So do any of the other cards here fit with antimony, SB? What other cards should I put here with SB antimony?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Okay, so let's look at this. Is oxygen the same color as antimony?
You said nitrogen.
You said nitrogen?
Yeah.
Okay. So now if I look at these here, do we see a difference between SB and N and oxygen? What difference do we notice?
It's a different color.
It's a slightly different color. And the number of what?
The number of sticks.
Yeah. Good. So let's remove it from there. Okay. We'll kind of put oxygen by itself right now. So again, we see that nitrogen and antimony have 5 sticks here. So let's see, can we find any others here that would be like this? E for phosphorus. Okay. All right, keep clicking through. Anything on this slide?
Arsenic.
Good, arsenic. All right. Anything on this slide?
Nitrogen.
All right, nitrogen, which we have from the other slide, good. Okay, that looks about it. Okay, so I would group those 4 cards together. Okay. Now, let's try to sort here GA for gallium. Let's see if we can find cards to sort here for this one. So gallium kind of has this light, almost lime green color, and it has 1, 2, 3 sticks coming out of the side of it. So if and when you see something that lines up with gallium, and boron. Okay, so it's also that same very light kind of yellow lime green color with 1, 2, 3 sticks coming out of it. Indium, good. All right, any on this slide?
Aluminum.
Aluminum. Okay, that's it. So that's actually how we would sort all of our cards here, okay? So the next kind of group I see sorted here is this purple one, and the purple one has 7 sticks coming out of it. So I go through my cards and look for more purple ones that have 7 sticks coming out. Duplicate. Okay. All right. So now let's see here. Another one I started with you guys was the orange one. It's orange and it has 1 stick coming out of the side. Okay, so here's another orange one. Rubidium. Okay, that's all I see so far for that one.
Magnesium.
You said what?
Magnesium.
Magnesium. Am I missing magnesium? Magnesium is orange. Or magnesium is yellow. Okay. So now I'm looking for yellow with 2 sticks. Beryllium fits that. Okay. See, strontium fits that. All right. Let's kind of target this neon group. So you've got neon here. We'll remove this one, put it somewhere else. Neon looks kind of almost red speckly. And it has 8 sticks coming out. Argon fits that. Krypton. Okay. Now I've got this blue speckly group for oxygen. And it has 6 sticks coming out of it. So I see selenium. Sulfur. Tellurium. Okay. And then I've got these kind of slightly darker green ones. So I have silicone. Okay, so someone asked in the chat, they don't understand how theirs is bad. It's not that yours was bad, okay? But does it look like how we just sorted them? And if the answer is no, then you just need to fix that, okay? Now, helium here is red. It has 2 sticks, and it says unreactive. So should I put it here? These have 2 sticks. Or here? Where should I put helium?
Put that everywhere.
With the rest of the red, okay? So I see that it's similar in color, but I also notice another property that's similar, right? They're all unreactive. They're also all colorless, odorless. They're all gases and nonmetals. So now if I look at the groups, I should notice similarities within the groups. Type of gases within, if they're a metal, non-metal, okay, properties like that. They react with water or oxygen, okay? So I apologize if some of you already had this. I know some kids already did, but I wanted to make sure everyone saw and understood how we ultimately want them sorted, okay? Those of you that did not get full credit, you just need to fix some of your sorting and resubmit it, just like any assignment, okay? It's not that what you did was necessarily wrong, but we need to focus on these certain characteristics in order to work on our next part of breaking this down, okay? So if I go back to Canvas, again, we just went over the card sort to make sure we all understand how the cards should be sorted. And now we have to start making sense of them, okay? To pause for a minute and make sure that we all understand why we're doing this and where it's coming from. We had reminded ourselves last week that we started this unit by observing different types of elements reacting with water, things that we consume that are in food that we eat that we normally would think are safe, things like sodium and potassium. And when they were thrown in pools of water, they were very explosive and reactive. And so we're trying to, on this journey here, figure out, well, how is that potassium and sodium different than what I eat? And what makes it so reactive? So now that we are looking at these cards here, we're going to start looking at some characteristics between them, working our way towards figuring it out. We're only about a week and a half out from being able to figure out why those elements were not so reactive. Okay. So if we could all click on 11.5, you're going to open up the assignment here. We're going to look at it together to make sure that we all understand what we're going to do here today with our cards. So it says here, the goal is to identify patterns between the cards and how they're sorted, identify characteristics shared between grouped elements, and use evidence on the cards to sequence elements within a group. So you are going to want to have your card sort open while you're working on this, because you'll need that information to answer these questions here. So let's look over what some of these questions ask. It says, list out the other elements you grouped with lithium. What characteristics or properties did all of the elements grouped with lithium have in common? If you had to list the elements grouped with lithium in a specific order, what order would you list them in? And what property or piece of information on the card would you use to list them this way? Okay, so you are going to be asked those questions for each group that we sorted. So for this group here, I'm going to ask you about one of these elements, and you're going to tell me what properties they all have in common, what other elements are sorted with them, and if you had to kind of sequence these elements, how would you sequence them, and what property or characteristic on the card would you use to sequence them? You're going to do it for each group here based off the element that I am asking you in the questions here. Okay, so this is going to get us to start looking at what are the slight differences between the elements within each group, and that's going to lead us toward understanding how could that affect the reactivity of those different elements, right? We notice if we look at these, like these all say something with water. This reacts vigorously, so it would like explode in water. This kind of reacts with water, barely reacts with water. This one doesn't react with water. So even though they have the same number of sticks, even though they're all metals, there must be something else here that's determining their reactivity, okay? And so that's what we're working towards. So your job for the remainder of the hour today, again, you have this class till 12:25, is to have open your card sort and go through and answer these questions, okay? These questions are due tomorrow night, so you want to make sure that if you don't finish it today, you work on it for homework and submit it later. I'd like everyone to stay in here and work on it, and as you work on it, if and when you have questions, make sure you ask me, okay? Drop it in the chat or use your microphone, whatever you are comfortable with, all right? Does anyone have a question about this assignment or anything we went over today? Okay, so start working on this assignment. And again, when or if you have any questions, drop them in the chat so I can help you, okay?